is going on, my friend? This is Jake of www.jgcalisthenics.co.uk. Before I dive into it, I just want to mention, if this is your first time here on this channel, then I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications, because I upload new videos every Monday and Thursday, specifically for people like you, my friend, who want to build more muscle, lose more fat with calisthenics and body training. Right, so the first truth of calisthenics that no one really talks about, right, is that not everything is actually going to go right. And speaking of that, as I actually mentioned on my Instagram a couple days back, as of the date of this recording, right, past weekend I actually gave myself a concussion, right? And that was actually, something I gave myself, obviously not intentionally, right? But basically, long story short, I was, working up towards the rings handstand push-ups, and next thing you know, as I was beginning to become fatigued, my right leg kind of came off the ring strap, and I landed headfirst on the safety mat, right on my forehead, and my neck went into full neck extension, and as I said, I gave myself a concussion, which I didn't actually have on record, by the way, if you're wondering. So obviously I don't want you to feel intimidated, because really bodyweight exercises, are actually safe, as I've learned, to actually avoid the exercises that have some injury risk, as I've learned from experience right there, right? But really my point is with the story is that, you're gonna fall down a lot along this journey of mastering your own body weight. If you've been watching some of my previous videos, I love sharing, the handstand progress I made last year, where I mastered the handstand in less than 3 months, which is awesome. Those clips are fantastic. But what I don't share much, right, during those 3 months was the hundreds, if not thousands of times I fell over, hit my back, or, even gave myself another concussion from landing flat on my head. But obviously this type of stuff isn't really shared on social media, nowadays. It's all about the sunshine and rainbows, and look at me, look how amazing I look how amazing my bicep looks. Obviously I'm not directing any names, because at times I actually become that sort of person myself. Progress is non-linear, my friend. Sometimes you're going to fall and fail, sometimes you're going to get some setbacks, like get the sick bug or the flu or whatever. Sometimes you can have plans to make a certain amount of progress in a certain amount of time, and it goes completely not to plan, And if you've ever been inspired by any of the progress I personally made myself, then thank you. I obviously appreciate that a lot. But just remember, of course, the wins and accomplishments that I show on camera are just like, the small percentage of my actual progress, right? Whereas, most of the stuff behind the camera that isn't really shared, consists of a lot of the falls, the fails, the concussion, right, and such, that obviously is part of the process, that not everything's going to go to plan, and you may fall sometimes, but obviously don't be idiotic like me and give yourself a concussion. Now, the second truth of calisthenics that no one really talks about, right, is that you can actually hurt yourself quite a lot if you don't actually follow the proper guidance. If you're following the wrong guidance, right, that is what I'm talking about. Because in May 2018, when I showed my 5-month body transformation, I felt on top of the world. Felt amazing. I was in the best shape of my life, and then suddenly, after that, later on, when I tried, progressing beyond that realm, I felt as if the world suddenly, turned on top of me, as I suffered a lot of injuries, and I faced, in that year, 8 months of rehab from elbow tendinopathy and other, injuries from muscle imbalances that I actually set myself up after, that, when trying to program my own exercises, which again, actually caused an injury for myself. And from trying to figure out by myself, I, paid the price. I've experienced a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, and I even felt worthless. In fact, that summer of that year 2018, I couldn't even play beach volleyball or beach football with my dad, as I do every single year, because I was in too much pain to even move my body. And that's why I myself actually have a coach, because the cost of all the physiotherapy, the time wasted, the frustration, the plateaus, and setbacks and injuries that can come from trying to figure out yourself by following the improper and wrong guidance, it's far bigger than the actual investment I make to work with my coach on a consistent basis. So a lesson you can take from my own mistakes and failures, right, is obviously make sure you have the right plan and you have the right guidance to follow. As you know, calisthenics isn't as simple as just adding more weight to barbells or dumbbells. If you actually select the wrong exercise progressions, you try and progress too quickly, you try and train too frequently, next thing you know, you can actually dig yourself into a very deep hole, as I did myself. Now, the third truth about calisthenics that no one really talks about is that the fact that you're not always going to look your very best all the time. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Most of the images that I post on social media, whether it's, photos or thumbnails or that's obviously when I'm looking my very best, when I'm looking at my peak condition. Other times where I may be doing workout or exercise videos here on YouTube with my shirt on, a lot of the times that's actually because I actually feel that my body isn't actually good enough to be presented shirtless, you know what I mean? Again, to be completely transparent, December, when Christmas just went, I'd say I enjoyed myself a little too much, and so as a result I didn't really want to show my very bloated midsection on camera immediately after Christmas. That's just me being completely transparent. How I look in thumbnails and transformation photos, I don't look like that all the time. Obviously I look different before a workout compared to after a workout, in good lighting versus bad lighting, a very good filter versus no filter at all. You see what I'm saying? And if you ever feel conscious with how your body looks right now, compared to someone who on Instagram has just finished a workout, so they've got a crazy muscle pump going on, that's okay. I still struggle with that to this day. You're not alone. So the lesson I really learned from this is, trying to maintain a very low body fat and looking your very best all the time, it's very unrealistic, and in fact it's actually a pretty bad expectation to set on yourself, because as I had myself, it can lead to a pretty poor mental health state. And for me, this really affected my personal life especially. I couldn't really enjoy my time with my family or friends, especially if it was anything where I'd have to estimate my foods or that when eating with them. I felt I had to track everything, weigh everything out, because I had to keep my abs in absolute peak condition to maintain the results I'd worked so much for. But obviously, we can actually still maintain the results, but trying to be so damn perfect, right, at such a high standard all the time, it's really not worth your mental health, in my opinion. Trust me, I say I went borderline insane with this. I've learned from my own mistakes, and I even teach my clients right now to really appreciate the long-term, transformation to your body, rather than trying to go from that temporary, quick short-term fix that only sets you up into a very vulnerable state where you just binge eat and gain all the weight back on and such. And I don't want that to happen to you, my friend. I'd much rather you be in that state of the first point I said, where you make consistent ongoing progress, where you look and feel good all year round without getting so obsessive with trying to be perfect all the time. You know what I mean? Is this making sense? I know I've been talking for quite a while, but I hope that my messages in this video are clear, and I'd be curious to know if this resonated with you at all. Any of these points or all of these points, let me know. In fact, as there's no direct messaging feature here on YouTube, you can either send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, as a link up here, or even put my email below in the description below if you don't have any social media accounts. But yeah, I hope my point is clear, and just wanted to let you know, my friend, that I'm a normal human being just like yourself, and it's perfectly okay to feel these types of things we may feel, because it's really part of the journey. We can't have our summer without the stormy winter, and that's how it is in our fitness and calisthenics journey, right? You've got to embrace the struggle to really seek the long-term pleasure for what you want to achieve, you know what I mean? So with that said, if you enjoyed this video, you like my content, you're watching every single minute, every single second of this video, make sure to give this video a cheeky thumbs up, and comment down below, like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, of what part of this video you actually felt resonated with you most. Comment down below, as I'd love to know, and interact with you on that note. So with that said, subscribe to, I literally just said with that said a second ago. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to say it again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this with a friend or friends you believe would benefit from these gains. And so that's done for me today. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, my friend, as a crew member of the Gains Express. Keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.